Hello everybody, coming at you with a very simple reminder at the simplicity of tonic herbalism. And when you get in, it's a very exciting world, tonic herbs, but then ultimately what we're aiming for is for it to integrate into rituals. Now, yes, we can go ahead and create new rituals around tonic herbs, but even more ideally, we're integrating these tonic herbs that are coming from antiquity and been used by herbalists and Taoists and just everyday humans for thousands and thousands and thousands of years. They are literally the most revered herbs in that top echelon in a herbal system, which is so sophisticated and so ancient, has so many thousands and thousands of herbs. These are the ones which were seen as going to be able to tone Jing, Qi, and Shen and give you a nice, long, healthy life and keep degeneration at bay. Now, all of that is very fun and complex and exciting, but then it just boils down to it's just the most simple bloody thing ever. So I'm going to show you a recipe that, of course, anybody can do, but I like calling it the immortal old Codger's Cuppa. Right? So now that's because, you know, when I talk about Cordyceps, especially, I talk about it being if I'm working in kind of that someone whose world is geriatrics, or I'm working in like that, you know, with someone who's getting their mum or dad or grandfather onto tonic herbs, and they want to know over that 65 age bracket, what's the one herb you're going to get them on? Cordyceps is the one. You know, I've just kind of got my dad, a huge bag going down there for him, and that's just because it's such a potent Jing herb. You want Jing there, like supplementing that primordial energy that's governing the bone health. And of course, there's so many herbs, but Cordyceps does that, and then it's an athletic herb. And so what are those things that start happening? When you start getting that little bit older, you deteriorate. Your athleticism goes down, so your physicality goes down. Sex hormones go down. Libido quite often starts to deteriorate. But then because Cordy is also a Qi tonic, it's lung function, it's blood oxygenation. That's your ability to stay vital and have enough Qi in your system to regenerate and heal. So that's why Cordy is a herb that I really like getting in. So like in this instance, I'm going to show you if you've got a father or a grandmother who has shown interest in the herbs and wants to take them, you can simply put it into the cuppa, right? And so I've got like a beautiful Earl Grey tea, non-mass produced. And so let's get in with this immortal old Codger Cordy cuppa, right? So we're just having a cuppa. You might be a future old Codger yourself. I know I definitely am. And Tani loves a bloody cuppa, and so I'm kind of like, I'm able to explore the floral notes. A little bergamot in that Earl Grey, and so I'm gonna use that as my delivery system. So now with SuperFeast, right? So I'm gonna just go let that infuse here. Now at SuperFeast, we are practicing a very old style of herbalism, of tonic herbalism. Now the way we've done it is that we are using extracted powders. They're extracted powders. They're absolutely ready to go. Now, I like the powders as a means for simply getting herbalism into the diet long term. Now, I personally make liquid alcohol tinctures. I have friends that make tinctures out of glycerin, and I enjoy using them, but they've got a really nice apothecary, herbaceously medicating yourself kind of feel. And yeah, it could be easy to put a tincture into your tea, but then you're adding alcohol or then you're adding glycerin, and so that's going to have a flavor profile or an energetic impact. Some people don't want alcohol in their tea. With an extract powder, we are talking about pure herbs that have been water extracted, at least alcohol extracted if needed, then no alcohol. So you're working with the pure flavor profile of the medicinal herb. And that is much easier to invite into the living, breathing, romantic kitchen life that you have, or habit, like having a little cup of tea. So basically here I've got a nice little infusion of my Earl Grey there. I'm sure you're all going, get my pen out. That's how you make an Earl Grey tea. Never done that before. Now, all I'm going to do is, how much do I want? That's maybe like a generous half a teaspoon there of Cordyceps. That's the bloody good. So I'm going to get it distributed nice and easy. Boom, that's dissolved. So in my nice hot Earl Grey tea, I've got that lovely little bit of an umami flavor of the cordyceps. But just say someone's really sensitive in the beginning of their herbal journey, or they just don't want their their coffee or their Earl Grey or their English breakfast or whatever, their green tea. They don't want the flavor meshed with because like, I like that flavor. Cool. Just take it down. That's what I did in the beginning. You take down to like a quarter teaspoon and you're absolutely fine. They won't get that flavor. I've also just got astragalus. I just really love, chi tonics. If I was given herbs, or when I am giving herbs out to, people I love who are, getting over 70, I like cordyceps. I like all the Jing herbs, but I especially like cordyceps, and I like astragalus just because astragalus is such a beautiful, vitalizing herb, life-giving herb, is bringing spark to the machine, and because it's such an incredible surface immunity herb, it's, we know that you need to keep the immune system rocking at any age, but especially when you get a little bit older, because, if you get infection, that's kind of can be bad news. And so the ultimate Qi providing herb, surface immunity, it's pumping, it's getting the spleen and lung chi really rocking and going hard so that you can transform that into daily chi that then goes and nourishes your primary organs, but also nourishes your yang surface immunity, your Wei Qi, so that pathogens can't get in the first place. Very important herb. Also really great herb for regenerating flesh and then building blood and fluids. You can see why I would want that in every retirement village. And of course, you want to I'm going to have to be going through your doctor in regards to herbs interacting with drugs and medications you're on. I definitely agree with that. But if you're clean and clear in that way, which is where you want to be clean and clear of any of those drugs. We get on tonic herbs early and get onto health practices early, so hopefully in the future we don't need to become dependent on these pharmaceutical drugs, which should be like the ultimate, either catch something when it's acute, but the ultimate last resort. Quite often that's not the case. And then I'm just gonna, lovely, add my little bit of plant milk. Pop. Give it a stir. Oh my gosh, I'm gonna look at you guys add milk to tea. Fascinating. All right. And that's of course, that's it, how you make a tea. But, as I said, nice bergamot little tones coming through there in that tea. However, that's a very simple way for you to slip tonic herbs into your diet. And that's why I like these extract powders, because that ritual has now been upgraded in a way that's got very rich roots and a very strong intention to keep our system healthy, especially if you are a young future old codger, or if you are an old codger and you want to ensure that your surface immunity is rocking and your blood oxygen, your blood oxygen levels are staying really high and your athleticism is staying up, because quite often when we start losing our innate athleticism is when we start becoming susceptible start becoming susceptible to gravity, and we become much slower moving. And so if you don't want that when you're 70 and 80, you will need to start thinking about that when you're 20, 30 and 40. So that's what I'm doing here with my immortal old codgers, Cordy Cuppa. Cheers.